The hacker who flew to the U.S. does not pass customs control. The lawyer defends him with ease, preventing the feds from getting a confession from Alexei. Agent Roberts was not as accommodating as his colleagues and throws the lawyer out the door. Playing the evil cop, he untwists the hacker and he begins to testify. At one point, Roberts is distracted by an important phone call, but it turns out to be a distraction. At the same moment, two mercenaries enter the next room and kill Alexei. Ginger arrives at a lonely, standing trailer in the middle of a wasteland in Texas. Here she finds Stanley playing golf. Until recently, he was a brilliant hacker, but he was caught and convicted of cyber crimes. After serving 2 years in prison, the guy got parole, but he can't even touch a computer. His beloved wife not only left him for a lowbrow filmmaker, but also took away his daughter, winning a court injunction forbidding Stanley to see his daughter. Not only does Ginger know all this, but he also offers the guy a good deal of money, which will allow him to fight for baby Haley. At first he refuses the offer, but $100,000 convinces him. After flying to California, Stanley meets the girl's boss, Gabrielle Shuro. The conversation stops being languid the moment the hacker is held by security guards. Gabrielle asks Stanley to prove his prowess and hack into a U.S. Department of Defense server in 1 minute. He doesn't take it seriously. But the gun to his temple lets him know that this is no joke. The hacker successfully completes the mission and realizes that the threat was not real because the gun is not loaded. After passing the test, Stanley gets a new and equally interesting offer. He must create a computer virus that will penetrate the system of a secret government fund and allow him to steal a tidy sum. To do this, he is given all the conditions of a sea of alcohol in a super-powerful computer. Ginger is ready to further motivate Stanley, but nothing adds up. While the hacker does his job, the feds don't waste any time either. After watching the surveillance video, they notice several suspicious guys. They first kept an eye on Axel, and a few days later they accompany Stanley. Roberts arrests the hacker and realizes that the appearance of two computer geniuses in the same town is no coincidence. Taking a break in the car keys, Stanley decides to see his daughter. His wife, starring in her husband's movies, has forgotten about Haley, so the hacker quietly picks up the little girl from school and spends time with her. Bringing the girl home, her father promises to do everything to ensure that she lives together with him. Saying goodbye, the little girl and Stanley notice the feds and try to hide from them. The hacker's physical condition leaves much to be desired, so he is quickly caught. Roberts has no intention of arresting Stanley. He only warns him to be more careful of his employers. Axel is dead, and Stanley may be next on the list. Another unpleasant surprise awaited the hacker when he returned home. Entering the bedroom, Ginger, he noticed a wiretap device on the girl. Under fear of exposure, she admits to working for the police and trying to put Gabriel behind bars. Stanley has nothing to fear if he fulfills all the conditions. Gabriel catches the couple at an awkward moment, but the hacker manages to hide the listening devices and keeps quiet about the girl's secret. At the cafe, Gabriel reveals that he is a covert employee of an anti-terrorist organization founded by the first director of the FBI. Once upon a time, the Drug Enforcement Agency set up a network of shell corporations and laundered money. Soon the program closed and $400 million was left in the account. Since then, 15 years have passed and the interest has been dripping, resulting in about $9.5 billion in the account. Stanley isn't sure the idea will work out. It would require creating a worm and running it into the server of the exact bank where the account was opened. Gabriel has no doubts about success, because the right bank is behind the hacker's back. Using his old work, Stanley injects a worm into the bank's system and begins to work on a complex virus that can give access to a closed account. At the same time, the feds track down the criminal group and pass the information on to the leadership. Senator James Reisman, who oversees Gabrielle's activities, receives the photos and realizes that the operation is in danger of being compromised. The official doesn't want to end up behind bars and demands that the operation be called off. But Gabriel, confident in his plan, is not going to cancel it. Fearing for his own skin, Reisman sends mercenaries to kill the wretched dog. Working day and night, Stanley tries to create the perfect virus. But all attempts to outsmart the system are even. Deciding to replenish the wine, the hacker goes to the cellar and finds Gabriel's corpse. Scared, he runs away and meets Gabriel again, but this time alive and quite healthy. The head of the gang suggests that they have fun and visit a nightclub. On the way they are attacked by the senator's men, but Gabriel, in Terminator style, handles the mercenaries. In a retaliatory gesture, he kills Reisman and eliminates his assistant. A few hours later, Stanley presents the finished worm, burned onto a disc. Gabriel makes a phone call at the same moment and transfers $10 million to a cellular account. Available to the hacker at any moment. Despite this, he can't leave the gang, because its plan is bigger. Not wanting to take part in an armed attack, Stanley knocks out the lights and runs away. Gabriel is not at all upset, for he has a plan by which the hacker himself will return to them. Stanley arrives at his wife's house and finds her with a bullet in her head lying beside her murdered husband. Gabriel and his team make a daring break-in at the World Bank. Taking hostages, he obliges them with explosives. The hacker realizes that his daughter is being held hostage and arrives on the scene. Stanley, Agent Roberts and Gabrielle chat in a cafe. The criminal is not enamored of modern cinema, for it makes the bandits look pathetic and not determined enough in their actions. He is tired of the fact that good triumphs and is ready to show that it can be otherwise. After a nice conversation, Gabriel and Stanley leave for the bank, after which the head of the gang calls Robert and tells him that the bank has become a fortress for the hostages. Not only are there explosives on each of them, but there are also metal balls that create an anti-personnel mine effect when detonated. The cops, no stranger to intelligence, kill one of the criminals and try to rescue a hostage, and with a working charge destroys everything within a 20-meter radius, leaving only a mountain of dead bodies and burnt-out cars. Stanley realizes that his daughter is a hostage and goes to great lengths to save her. To activate the worm, he transfers money from a special account. Gabriel lets the hacker get away. But a couple of moments later, he notices that the money is gone. Stanley manages to grab it, but the important thing is that the daughter is safe and in the cops' care. Thinking up a new way to blackmail, Gabrielle suspends Ginger and gives the hacker a minute to return the money. Trying to help the girl, Stanley gives the money back to the robbers. Gabriel lets Ginger go, but kills her in the same hour as he discovers she is with the police. Showing unusual originality for a robber, Gabriel demands a fueled plane and directions to the police. Everything goes according to plan, but at some point the bus veers off course. It turns out that Gabriel led them on a false trail, because he had a cargo helicopter to drop the bus on the roof of a skyscraper. It's not without problems that they reach their destination, and Gabriel and his crew head for the helicopter. Stanley wants revenge on the criminal who killed his wife and put his daughter in danger. Grabbing a grenade launcher, he fires after the flying helicopter and blows it up. At the morgue identification, he realizes that Gabriel's escape has been realized in the best tradition of Harry Houdini. With a feint in his ears, the burglar quietly escaped and planted a prearranged corpse. And Ginger was no undercover agent. Stanley, traveling around the country with her daughter. Ginger's altered appearance at a bank in Monte Carlo transfers money into a new bank account, using the password Fish, Sword. And she meets Gabriel on a yacht. In the final scene, the suspected gangster's yacht explodes, and the broadcaster reports that this is the third death of a criminal leader this month. That's the end of this story. If you enjoyed it, we'd love to have your subscription. After all, together we're on our way to our goal of 100,000 subscribers. Also, don't forget to write in the comments about which movie to tell about next time. Have you seen Movie Recap channel? See you soon.